And welcome to TELUS STORYHIVE On Location, Penticton. I'm Robb, and we're live in Penticton with another episode brought to you with support by TELUS STORYHIVE. I'm sitting talking with Drouin, a local photographer who has been in the scene for a long time and has built a wicked name for himself. And we're going to dive into his story, his history, and talk a little bit about his life. How are you doing?
Good, bud, good. Wicked might be a little bit of a wild overstatement, but I appreciate that.
I've always enjoyed what you've done, but let's dive in with who you are and where you're from to start off.
Man, I'm local. My roots are here. I've been here basically my entire life. Bought a house, raised some kids, the whole nine.
That's awesome.
And this is home. This is Penticton. This is what I love, and this is where I am.
What initially got you into picking up a camera and wanted to be a photographer?
Depression. I got wildly injured on the job site, and I was staring down the barrel of never doing my career again. And someone handed me a camera and said, "This is how it works." They kind of recognized where I was at, showed me just the basics, and said, "Go, just go." And that was that. Turned out I was really bad at it, but I really enjoyed it, and I haven't looked back. It's been about 14 years now, 15 years, and I'm in and out of it, but I haven't stopped.
What was your first initial love that you'd love to take photos of?
My kids. Honestly, the whole idea was, after my accident, I was basically the stay-at-home parent. My wife she didn't have a choice. She really didn't. I spent 5 years in and out of surgeries. I raised 2 daughters for the first 5 years of their life, one-handed. Not saying that to be funny. Literally had a hand velcroed up here for about 5 years. When I had a camera, it was great. I had something to focus on. Get out, take photos of flowers, take photos of clouds, sunsets, and then there's my kids running around, and nobody really thinks in terms of timelines, but from basically 0 to 17 and 0 to 14, where my kids are right now, has been just one long, quick jump. There's been no break. It's just been start to here. And I'm looking back, I actually just compiled almost my entire family history with them in terms of photos, season by season, year by year, specific events of their life, and about 23,000 photos of my kids, and it's been ridiculous, man. And I can look back, and I literally just finished that maybe 4 days ago. Backed it all up in a nice little RAID system, put it on a couple of spare jump drives just because, and it's genuinely crazy. Being able to catalog those moments in history and knowing each moment so intimately just by looking at the photo. I mean, that I never thought that would be the initial drive behind it, but that has basically been the engine.
It's beautiful. I think that was one of the first photos that I took with my camera when I first got it. Was my daughter, and she's like wearing her battle jacket with all her band patches on it in the park, and that was kind of where I was like, hey, I really enjoy this, but I had to put it down. And it is kind of like you touched on a point that I don't think a lot of people realize that photographers do, and that is every photo you see that you've taken, you remember the moment that you took it. Like, that is embedded in your brain almost. You're like,
that's no joke.
You can see where locations, like there's places I can't even drive past anymore because I took a photo there, and like the memory to that photo is either tainted or blessed, but at that same point it's like I can't shoot there anymore. I've been there, I've done it. You know what I mean? You can't like go back to a location and try and capture that same feeling that you had initially, which is why I feel like we're always pushing out and chasing something new to shoot.
You're not wrong, man. You are absolutely not wrong. And it's crazy because I always joke around about having a short-term memory, but I'll look at a photo and I'll know everything that happened within 10 minutes leading up to that photo and 10 minutes after. I'll remember the exact conditions, what the weather was like, what people were wearing. It's crazy. As a photographer, I tell people my job is to literally freeze a moment in time. I capture light, that light stops behind the sensor and it creates the image, and that image is exactly what I saw as I saw it. and the memory is always there. When I work with clients, it's the same thing I'm trying to do for them. I want them to feel the exact same thing that I do. I want them to be on site. I want them to remember every second leading up to that image, and then everything after that. It's weird in an increasing age of digital creators and digital creation that I still maintain that level of purity behind it. I don't mess around with AI or anything like that. Everything I do is as natural as the moment it was captured. And probably going to get left in the dust as the landscape behind photography and digital creation continues to expand and move forward. But I think I'm okay with that. I deleted most of my social media, and I always had this belief that I'm going to get back, I'm going to plan it out, and I'm going to do it properly. I'll create an online presence or recreate my online presence. I will then create a nice cohesive look about my images, and I separated what I do for portraits and people versus my landscapes and my travels. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be great. It's been 4 years, and I think I've posted maybe 2 dozen photos, 3 dozen photos. In fact, about the only thing that I really post about at all is an ongoing project I've had since 2020, where I do grad photos. I take photos of middle school, secondary, post-secondary graduates, and the money I raise I donate back to the community because it gets me excited, it makes me happy. So I'm creating those moments. I'm helping parents out because there's not a lot of respect in the world anymore for photographers. That there isn't. Everyone's got a phone in their hand, and that phone doubles as a video camera, stills camera. And it's like you said, social media. It's your guide to the world. It's a key. It unlocks a door, and everything's right there. And social media has become so prominent in regards to marketing your image, connecting with everybody, but it also has those downsides that people refuse to talk about, where that curated image, that curated belief of who you are, it's not real. It isn't. So I lost so much love behind it. And I don't think I know a single artist, photographer, videographer, dancer, painter who hasn't fallen out of love with what they do at some point in time, and then picked it back up. But for me, I look at it and I look at that social media race, and like you said, all these photographers, videographers, they're doing amazing things, but they're pushing the boundaries of realism, and it traps me right back to that belief that I'm never going to be able to keep up with that race, because it's not who I am. If I look around and I see green grass, that grass is going to be green in the photo. It's not going to look brown. It's not going to look yellow. If I look at someone and their skin tone is, peach, purple, beige, depending on the weather, they've got a ruddy glow on their cheeks because it's cold out, or their skin has a great tan, but this wicked tan line. Well, I'm sorry, but that's how you're going to look. Do you want me to correct that? Okay, I will, but here's the contract you're going to have to sign for me to do that, because I don't want to. I don't want to correct something that I saw. Being a purist, doing what we do, it's capturing history, and it's not capturing an image as it was. Freezing time is not the same as capturing an image, because an image is what people are portraying. And everything I see on social media, as odd as it sounds, that is just, it's not real. It's not real to the person. It's not real to the brand. It's not real to anything, because watching people take an hour and a half, 2 hours out of their day to post one single image and stare at their phone waiting for engagement, only to delete it to try again, to promote the belief that their life is fantastic. Again, it's weird, man. It's weird to me. I just want to be out there with my camera. I want to put a light on a person and a camera behind them and take that image, and done. That's it. That's all I want to do. And running and chasing social media and the belief that somehow, some way, things are better than they are, or that this is what Penticton looks like, the Okanagan looks like, when it's already this beautiful. I mean, altering that is weird, and I'm totally rambling now, so let's just...
No, I think you're hitting amazing
let's go,
points.
man.
You just brought up a point that, Dave Mayan, Andrene, when I interviewed Andrene, she was talking about how she's tired of like the landscape portraits or the Penticton Okanagan portraits, how they're always represented with this beauty that is. But she's like, what about the garbage that's on the ground? Like, you gotta, like, that's there. May as well put that into the scene too, right? And
Absolutely.
That's from my photography. I love diving into graffiti. The graffiti that we have hiding in the alleys, and like there is some amazing artwork out there that's considered vandalism when it's beauty. And to be able to capture that before it gets buffed and taken off the wall, for me, is like, that's what I enjoy doing. And birds. I don't know why. I hit 30, 35, and I was like, I enjoy birds. So now bird photography is absolutely fun.
As weird as it is, I think we all reach, everyone with a camera at some point in time reaches that point where they look at a bird and it's like, that's really dope. I need to photograph that.
I love nature photography. And that's where it's like, as a photographer, you kind of have to choose what is your business and what is your enjoyment that keeps you passionate about photography. And a lot of the time, there's only a few handful of routes that you can go as a photographer for business. But I've always loved, like my buddy Caleb, who has these beautiful photos that I'm pretty sure he's had in National Geographic before, because he just constantly hides in the hills looking for goats. And he hangs out with these goats and he looks for animals, but he gets these amazing shots. But the time that it takes for him to get that one photo, I don't think anybody else would really dedicate that much energy to it.
I've traveled across the US, Mexico, Canada, sunsets, sunrises, everything, and I don't have the heart to display them anymore. I love landscapes. I mean, I can't stress enough that it kept me alive. Like, I was in a really, really dark place when I started shooting, but landscapes don't pay the bills anymore, and that's the problem. I actually, ironically enough, I had to rescue my daughter from a wild trip to Italy, and she came back, and that was something else. So I spent 18 hours driving to Seattle and back. It was just one thing that everything that could go wrong basically did. I was in Leavenworth, Washington, and it's a beautiful studio there. If you've never been to Leavenworth, the whole idea behind the town is to maintain like a Bavarian style village, and everything's done up in a Tudor style. But there's a fine art photographer who has a brilliant studio there. Everything that they do is on an incredible aluminum backing. And I stopped to stretch my legs, and it's in the mountains. It's a little cold, and I'm just staring in the window at some of his prints, and they're gorgeous. He's done triptych style, where he's actually separated the image into 3 different prints, and it looks cool because on your wall you're going to have section 1, 2, 3, what have you. It looks amazing, but I'm looking at it, and let's go back to the realism aspect. I know by looking at an image after this long what effects people have put on a photo to make it look that way. I can look at it and I can see this image has had image stacking done to it, or focus stacking. They've definitely pulled off an HDR. That's a Gaussian blur. Man, they deleted something there. I can actually see where they deleted something. And I'm looking at these incredible prints. And like I said, these triptychs are 3 foot by 6 foot. And they're incredible. And the price on them was about $18,000 US. And brilliant work, like truly, truly brilliant work. And I look at it, and you talk about measuring your work against other people. And you look at that and realize, oh man, my work's never going to look like that. And then you scroll through your photos and realize, like, my work is that good, but I mean, I'm not putting 19 hours worth of work into a single edit. Like, that image took me 30 seconds. When I learned how to photograph stuff, everything that I was taught was, if you need to spend more than 2 minutes on a photo, it's not a photo anymore, it's digital art, and that's great. But every time I see something like that, it just shocks me to know that there's so few people left with the ability to actually earn a living in this industry the way it's heading, because landscapes don't pay the bills anymore. Mm-hmm. Sunsets and sunrises, no, they're great, but everyone and their dog has one, and they've got 16 different photo editing apps on their phone through their social media managers that they can come up with different outlooks or different looks to make something that's already beautiful look otherworldly. And then they go into ChatGPT and they download a witty caption that has literally nothing to do with the moment of their life, and they press play, it's all done, they upload it, and that's that. So Caleb, hiding in the hills there, I mean, he's got a great little place, and yeah, he does a ton of hiking. He's literally living the dream as a photographer, man. He's got a great job, he's got a great life, and all he does is runs around with his dogs and a camera. And those moments that you talk about of him spending all that time, it's the fact that he's actually out doing it. One of the only captions I ever consistently used was, "You never took a great photo sitting on your couch." And I mean, I got kids, so that's obviously not true, because I got tons of photos of my kids when I was just sitting on my butt doing nothing. But those moments in time, those beautiful nature moments, you're not catching them from your seat. And those beautiful moments aren't done at the back of an editing app. They're done by being present, and they're done by being there when they happen.
Being a beginner photographer, it's hard to choose what the right route is. But as a musician, I know that just being authentic and being yourself is what people genuinely want. So delivering that eye that you have, people are going to gravitate towards that because they like what you do versus this image you're portraying online just to have 14,000 followers or something like that.
Well, the truth of the matter is, little Timmy in Malaysia, if I post a photo of an attractive woman, it's going to generate a ton of engagement. But again, little Timmy in Malaysia who likes that photo is not buying my work. They're not spending that time. They like the fact that there's an attractive woman on their screen. That's it. And that engagement lasts about 3, 2, zoom, done, gone. That engagement is quite literally fractions of a second, because at the end of the day, we're all animals, and people like the simple things. They like attractive things. They like sugar. They like feeling excited about stuff. But those moments are fleeting. In a day and age of social media, I mean, you get that on command. It's ridiculous. You get all of that there. Those feelings. Generating that feeling in a person is getting harder and harder to do because we're becoming so desensitized to it. So when you're talking about that abstract stuff, Andrene actually had like you mentioned, she had a beautiful point of view. Look, this is an amazing landscape, but why are you missing that rock with all the broken glass and graffiti on it? I mean, you should lower your camera down and get that in there, because look, is that dirty? Is it gritty? Is it gross? Yeah, but that sunset is breathtaking, but that counterpoint tells a story. And I love that. I mean, she's always been an incredible artist. And having that point of view is something that a lot of people just don't factor in. They don't take something like that into consideration. Because walking around with a tripod and a camera and setting it up because that cloud formation is great, or look at that crepuscular ray coming across the valley, it's amazing. Again, everyone's got a phone on them now, and everyone's already doing that. It's getting harder and harder to make people feel something with photography. So finding those niche moments, those abstract moments, they're becoming really, really important. And I've been thinking more and more about the irony in photography. And I don't know if it's ironic. I don't know if ironic is the right term, but just that. Finding that beautiful wall, that graffiti, you know, it's in a dusty, dirty alley that stinks like urine. And then there's a random weed or dandelion or flower growing up in a crack in the pavement in front of it. That's art, man. That's beautiful. For me, I want that photograph. But running around Penticton, running around any city now with a camera is getting harder and harder to do. People are hyper aware of their privacy. They're hyper aware of property rights, property values. There's always someone who's gotten, you know, in the background of an image that's taking offense to a camera being near them. It's crazy.
One of my favorite things that I see online when I'm scrolling Instagram is the raw versus the edit. And you see the absolute leap that is done after, right? You're like, the raw is one thing and it's a beautiful photo. You're like, well done. And then all of a sudden the edit, you're like, that looks like an album cover. Like, that looks like digital artwork. Like, quite literally a digital, like a graphic designer did.
Yep.
And that's where it's like, I enjoy the rawness, the raw realness. There are some forms of photography that I do that I have to do the boosting of specific the colors, or you're doing black white, you got to do a little bit more work on it. I find, strictly with your lighting to push things that I want. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to sit there and do that. I should just be able to see the light, wait for the capture, that moment of light, versus trying to force the light through editing, which is one thing I notice a lot of people do with like exposure. You'll see that in their editing. They're doing these gradient exposures and boosting things that aren't even lit up. And I'm guilty of doing it for a take when I'm underexposed and doing it, but there's a lot of rules and regulations that the photography world puts in when it's just need to be capturing moments. There's no,
Yep.
You don't need to be worrying about what program you edit on, what camera you're working with, and that's where it starts to become like that clicky, cliche art world where everyone's got to have their opinion on it. And I'm just like, I'm happy with the camera and body I use, the lenses I use. If I can't get close enough to the subject that I want and I can't get that photo, then I wasn't meant to capture that moment. That's kind of how I live at it right now, which is pushing me to have to take better photos because I have to sit and wait for the moment. Like when I did the other day, I went for a walk on Okanagan, and that sculpture that's on Okanagan where it's like the concrete circle, the hole in it. The
that
bottom
manhole
of it,
cover, yeah.
Yeah, the bottom of it, there's a square. It's just a square box of concrete. And I caught somebody rowing in the center of that, and it looks like it's a concrete TV, and that's the channel that's being played. And I'm like, if I did not sit for 2 minutes waiting for the boat person to come through to hit that dead center of the square, that photo would not exist.
Yeah, that
and
level of framing
that's
is
abstract, right? Like that's the abstract art video, like how I see the world. And like, I'm looking at the people behind me at the bar, at the coffee shop, and they're like staring at me, waiting for this person to get to the right moment. I'm like, one day you'll see it, and if not, it's for me. So I have like these weird photos like that I'm like, these are my prized possessions, and I haven't posted them because those are like, if I was to ever put prints out, those would be the prints that I put out.
I think for me, I talk about this image of this beautiful woman and that homeless individual with that cat. I think for me, I've got this fear. If I posted that image, I feel so much raw emotion looking at that photo, like at the counterpoint of where humanity is right now. That if I posted that photo and I got like zero generation based on what I felt, and there was no feedback that correlated how I felt taking it, that you know what, it's weird, man. I've been doing this for almost 2 decades. That would crush me. Like I don't even know another way to put it. I would feel so beat up. I mean, Christ, my first camera was like it's a freaking JVC point and shoot, I think. And then I moved on to a Kodak EasyShare, and then a Nikon D50-100. And I mean, the first time I got like a camera, like, yeah, the Nikon D50-100 is like everyone's like, oh, you should go Canon, or you should do this, or you should do that. Bro, I literally just had my hand torn off. I'm in and out of surgery, and I'm still fighting like, you know, a compensation claim. And my earnings went from here to here, but my bills never dropped. So me buying like all this fancy equipment you're talking about, no, that's not going to happen, bud. But I ran around with that D50-100, and I was so excited. It came with a kit lens, standard kit lens, and 18 to 55. It comes in every kit box, every camera ever sold. Yeah! And then I got my hands on a 35 mil, and yeah, I never stepped back, man. Like, running around with a fixed lens, that one lens, like, you learn to frame things, like, you learn to be patient. There's no rushing anything with a 35 or a 50 mil, because those were and still are the embodiment of everything that photography ever was. You go way back to the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Wars were captured, historic events, assassinations, everything was captured with a 35 or a 50 mil lens. And there was no rushing it. I mean, you couldn't stand back and zoom out to 300 mil and come back to 24. You physically had to be present. You had to be waiting and patient and anticipatory. And there was an art and a stillness behind it. And there still is, but it's not the same, because photography, when you talk about it, like, yeah, you can push that dynamic range, and now I can open those shadows up so people can see every single detail. or you can crush those shadows so hard you can hide a Buick in them. In the editing process. But being able to frame that, like waiting for that person on a kayak to just come in front of that window of that sculpture, I mean, that's something you only learn if you've been limited in what you're able to do. And like you said, that eye, that patience, you see something that other people don't. I mean, everyone and their dogs got their cell phones out and they got one eye closed and they're looking for that perfect angle. And there's always, you can tell the soul of a person who is looking for the moment just by how they look at that scene. You got 30 or 40 people taking a photo of a sunset, and they're all taking selfies, and they're in groups or they're standing alone. And you got that one person standing off by themselves doing something totally different. And that person always gets my attention because they are seeing something nobody else does. And they're not seeing a different narrative, they're not seeing a different image, they're seeing things from a different perspective. And it's those moments as photographers, videographers, it's those moments we look for. I mean, we can plan everything out, but that's not how life works. It isn't. One of the most famous photos I've seen recently, to my mind, is the royal wedding from a little while back. And there's a photo taken of maybe 100 people in it. And everyone's got their cell phones out and everyone's doing this. And there's just one little old lady who's just leaning on the railing, watching. And it's that stuff that's being stolen from us through social media, through cell phones, through living through other people's lives or curating this falsity versus just living in the moment. So when I talk about purity, yeah, I'm no better. I live on my phone. It's terrible. When I got a camera in my hand, I'm living through a viewfinder. Again, it's terrible. But I'm looking for that exact moment that little old gal was looking for. I want that moment frozen. I want to feel exactly what she did. I just want to look at that image and I want to feel that peace. I want to know that I was there. I want to know that it looks exactly like it was. I don't want the direction behind it, the narration. I don't want the comments. I just want to feel that exact same moment. I want to be that person sitting at the railing enjoying the concert, not trying to film it, not trying to watch that through a 3-inch screen. I want to see that real deal. And I mean, photography gives me that ability. And if everyone took a step back and realized it, they'd see a much bigger picture. Because living life through a 3-inch screen is basically dehumanizing all of us. We're desensitized, man. There's days I'd rather be that guy in that sitting on that cardboard box in a puddle waiting for a cat to come and let me pet it, as much as I'd like to be the guy able to talk to that pretty looking woman in a pencil skirt. But I guess, I don't know, man.
A lot of people that we've spoke with haven't started their careers until their late 40s and 50s.
No, they reinvent themselves by themselves.
Yeah, and they're just picking up their passions and running with it and building these epic careers with it. And I'm just like, I think if we were all told that we could really do what we wanted to, if we were just to believe in ourselves and fully go for it, yeah, that if there'd be a lot better place in the world.
Well, I mean, we're now living in a day and age of AI where AI is destroying creativity. People are using AI to create videos. I mean, Snapseed or something like that is, it's insane what it's creating. Literal movies, Hollywood quality, like reels, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, minute long, and you're never going to differentiate. Like I'm a trained professional. I'm looking at this pixel by pixel, and I can't tell what is and is not real in this anymore. I've got AI programs that are doing headshots, and headshot photographers that had an incredible business, and they were doing 6 figures or better in smaller markets, are now like, oh crap, you mean your company just bought a $2,000 program and you don't need my services this year? Wow. And they're watching everything dwindle. So that reinvention is real, man. That reinvention is right there. Like half the reason I got excited about buying video equipment was still photography is a dying art, and video is definitely where it is. I mean, kills me to go and shoot a wedding and I see a dude with like a $300 gimbal and an iPhone, and I'm like, what the hell is that guy doing? Oh, that's our content creator. I'm like, you hired a videographer? No, we can't afford a videographer. We got a content creator. I'm like, well, what's he doing? Oh, he's going to create a 2 or 3 minute video of our day. Are you serious? With an iPhone? Oh, you should see their work. It's incredible. And you look and you're like, wow, this is actually really good. So how much are you paying them? Oh, $5,000. And you realize, like, I'm going to be here for 8 hours shooting your wedding in stills, and I'm only charging you $2,500. And I'm lugging all my equipment around by myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as a person in their 40s or 50s, reinventing yourself happens because you tend to drown out a lot of the noise and just do it because you want to do it. And people will recognize you or not. But when you're faced with that, when you're literally watching people learn the whole thing just like that and run away in the new dawn of this industry, it's heartbreaking, man. It can be defeating. So we go back to Calum, and I'll tell you, dude, the idea of buying a house in the hills and just wandering around with a dog, taking photos of, you know, those beautiful little yellow flowers, those balsam root flowers, sunsets, sunrises, being cold, being wet, being miserable, wondering if that's a tick bite or not. That's really attractive, and it's becoming more and more interesting. And I mean, little Timmy in Malaysia, he might be upset that I'm not posting pretty photos of pretty women anymore, but at least my heart feels good about it.
No, that's true.
Brother.
If you had any advice to give an aspiring photographer who wanted to start a career in the present climate that we have in our industry, what advice do you think it would be?
If I had to give anyone starting in the industry advice, don't. I'm kidding. No. Don't follow social media. Don't follow a trend. Don't follow a fad. Fall in love with it for what it is. Don't fall in love with it because it might make you money or it might make people like you. Learn the new technology behind it, because AI-driven algorithms and AI-driven technology behind video and photo work is what the next 10 to 15 years is going to be. And if you follow that, you're going to realize the people that have been the most successful in this industry are the people that 25 years ago looked at the first digital camera back in 30 years ago, back in 96, 97, looking at the first, digital camera that pumped out a 1.6 megabyte photo, right? Impressive. And said, oh, this is a gimmick. This is garbage. And they never, ever actually picked it up and got left behind, right? Learn every new aspect and every new nuance of this industry that you can. Don't do it for the money. Do it because you love it. Never leave home without your camera. I look back to when I lost heart and to shoot every single day and to post every single day, and realized it started the very same day I started traveling without my camera everywhere, because I never leave without my camera on me. And I started scrolling through other people's feeds instead of creating my own. And I don't mean posting every day. It was just, I was scrolling through other people's lives instead of living my own. And I'll tell you, wandering around with a camera in my hand, if I take 20 photos in a day, I'm living a much better life than any one person who's got 300, 400,000 followers on insert social media platform here, who is creating this incredibly fake and false narrative and chasing trends to try and stay relevant, trying to convince people that, yeah, I live this great life, when the reality is their life is lonely and crap. Take photos and take videos because you love it, and not because you want other people to love it. Because if you love what you do, eventually with 8 billion people on the planet, you're going to find a niche of people that love what you do. Me, I found that I love leaving a legacy. I take photos for money and give that money away. And don't ask me how I'm actually even alive today, because that's the worst business plan on the freaking planet. The only other advice I would say would be learn the law of photo and video work because people don't respect our industry anymore, man. They don't. You got a lot of people that think that it's just a camera, exposure. Do it just because. It'll be great for your career. It's like, it won't, because what's great for my career is what pays my bills. Learn the law behind it. Get your contracts. Lean on those contracts. And it's okay to upset people, because the reality is, if people piss you off in this industry, you can edit one eye to be 10% larger than the other in every single photo, and at some point in time, that person that has screwed you over is going to get a Forrest Whitaker complex, and that's all that matters at the end.
I love it. Douglas, I want to thank you for your time, my friend. That was a wicked wrap up. I love it. Your story, your brain, I've been waiting all season to sit with a photographer and speak, because it's one of the, like you said, it's a dying profession, and that's one thing I don't want to see die is photography, because it's a wonderful art form. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, there will be a QR code at the bottom of the screen that you can scan. It'll take you to a form that you can fill out, and you'll be a guest on the show. For everyone at Storyhive, I'm Robb O'Day, and this has been TELUS Storyhive On Location, Penticton. We'll see you next time.